Welcome to 10-Minute English, your daily podcast to learn English in a simple and fun way.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to today's podcast. I'm 10 minutes in this podcast. Have you ever found yourself lying awake at night, staring at the ceiling, while your mind refuses to rest? Every small detail of the day replays in your head. Every word you said, every choice you made, every possible scenario of what could have happened, or what might happen tomorrow. The thoughts don't stop. They circle endlessly, like waves crashing against the same shore. This is what we call overthinking. Overthinking is not just a habit. It is a mental trap, a self-built prison made of what-ifs, our should-haves, and what will happen next. At first, it feels like control. It feels like we are protecting ourselves from mistakes by replaying situations again and again. But slowly it becomes heavy. It drains us. It makes life feel overwhelming. And the truth is, overthinking does not stay inside the mind. It spills into the body. It creeps into our health, our energy, our relationships. The body keeps the score of every sleepless night, every stressful thought, every tense muscle. That is why talking about overthinking is not only about psychology or emotions. It is also about physical health, inner peace, and the ability to live fully. In this series of reflections, we will explore what overthinking really is and why it happens, how it silently damages both mind and body, the hidden signs we often ignore, and most importantly, how we can gently free ourselves from it. This is not about quick fixes or forcing positivity. It is about awareness, compassion, and learning to trust life again. What does overthinking really mean? At its core, overthinking is the inability to let go. It is the constant analysis of the past, or the endless worry about the future. It is when our mind becomes so loud that we forget how to simply be. Imagine your mind as a river. Thoughts are like water flowing naturally. Normally, the water moves smoothly, carrying ideas, memories, and plans with it. But when we overthink, we start building dams inside the river. We block the natural flow with what-if questions, doubts, and fears. The water has nowhere to go, so it swirls around in circles, overflowing and flooding everything. Overthinking is not the same as problem solving. Solving a problem has an endpoint. You look at the issue, you take action, and you move forward. Overthinking has no endpoint. It is thinking about the same thing again and again, without resolution. It often comes from a place of fear. Fear of making the wrong choice. Fear of being judged. Fear of failure. Fear of the unknown. And fear, when repeated long enough, becomes stress. We often think of thoughts as invisible, as something that lives only inside the mind. But every thought creates a ripple inside the body. When we overthink, we don't just exhaust the mind. We exhaust the body too. Think about it. When you feel anxious, your heart beats faster. When you worry too much, your stomach feels tight. When your mind is restless, sleep becomes difficult. This is the body responding to thought. Overthinking may feel silent, but inside the body, it is very loud. The stress response. Our bodies are designed to protect us. Thousands of years ago, humans needed to respond quickly to danger. If a wild animal appeared, the body had to prepare instantly. Heart racing, muscles tensing, adrenaline rushing. This is called the fight or flight response. But the problem is this. The body cannot tell the difference between a real danger, like a lion in front of us, and an imagined danger, like the fear of failure or rejection. When we overthink, our brain sends signals to the body as if danger is happening right now. The heart beats faster, the breath becomes shallow, muscles tighten, the stomach may feel upset. If this happens once in a while, the body recovers. But with constant overthinking, the body is trapped in a cycle of stress. 2. Effects on sleep. Overthinking is one of the main reasons people struggle with insomnia. At night, the body wants rest, but the mind keeps replaying conversations, regrets, or future fears. Instead of entering deep, healing sleep, we stay in a half-awake state, where the nervous system is still alert. Lack of sleep then creates low energy during the day, difficulty concentrating, weakened immune system, more negative thoughts. It becomes a loop. Overthinking prevents sleep, and lack of sleep increases overthinking. 3. Physical tension and pain. Have you ever noticed your shoulders tightening when you worry? Or a headache after hours of rumination? This is the body's way of carrying mental tension. Overthinking often shows up as headaches or migraines, neck and shoulder stiffness, digestive issues. The gut is very sensitive to stress. Fatigue even when you haven't done physical work. In many cases, people go to doctors for these symptoms, but the medical tests show nothing wrong. Why? Because the root is not only physical, it is the constant storm of thoughts. 4. Long-term health risks. If overthinking becomes a long-term habit, it can lead to more serious health issues. High blood pressure from chronic stress, weakened immunity, making the body more vulnerable to illness. Hormonal imbalance, especially with cortisol, the stress hormone. Higher risk of heart disease. This is why it is not just in your head. Overthinking literally changes the chemistry of your body. 5. Emotional exhaustion. Health is not only about the body, but also about emotions. Overthinking creates emotional burnout. Now, my friends, let's take a small moment to look at some of the new words we used in this part. These words might feel a little difficult at first, but don't worry. I will explain them one by one with easy examples, so you can understand and use them in your own life. 1. Insomnia, meaning the condition of not being able to sleep. Example: she has insomnia because she always thinks too much at night. 2. Tension, meaning a tight feeling in the body caused by stress or worry. Example: he felt tension in his shoulders after a long day at work. 3. Vulnerable, meaning weak or unprotected, easily harmed. Example: when we are sick, our bodies are more vulnerable to infection. 4. Cortisol, meaning a hormone in the body that increases when we are stressed. Example: too much cortisol can make you feel tired and anxious. 5. Burnout, meaning extreme tiredness of both body and mind, often from stress. Example: after months of working without rest, she felt burnout. Overthinking feels endless, but many people have discovered that with small, gentle steps it can change. These are not magic tricks. They are practices, ways of living, that slowly teach the mind how to rest. 1. Writing the thoughts down. One of the most powerful yet simple practices is journaling. When we keep thoughts in the mind, they grow bigger. But when we write them on paper, they lose some of their power. Real example: Sarah, a university student, struggled with overthinking at night. Her mind kept repeating, "What if I fail? What if I can't do it?" She began keeping a small notebook by her bed. Every night, she wrote down all her worries. She didn't try to solve them, she just released them onto paper. Within a few weeks, she noticed she could fall asleep faster. 2. Breathing with awareness. The breath is the bridge between the body and the mind. When thoughts race, the breath becomes shallow. But if you slow down the breath, the mind begins to follow. Practice. Try inhaling slowly for 4 seconds, holding the breath for 2 seconds, and exhaling gently for 6 seconds. Do this 5 times. Real example: Mark, a teacher, practiced this breathing method every morning before class. He noticed his anxiety reduced, and he felt more grounded when speaking to students. 3. Limiting the thinking time. Instead of trying to stop thoughts completely, some people found it useful to schedule their worry. They chose 15 minutes a day to sit and think about their concerns. Outside that time, if a thought appeared, they told themselves, "I'll think about this later, not now." Real example: Anna, who often replayed conversations in her head, set her thinking time for 7 p.m. each evening. Slowly, her brain learned not to overthink all day long, because it knew there was a special time for it. 4. Connecting with the body. Overthinking keeps us trapped in the head. Physical movement brings us back into the present. Walking, yoga, stretching, or even dancing are ways to remind the body that life is happening now, not only in thoughts. Real example: Lena, who worked at a stressful office, started walking every evening without her phone. The simple act of moving her body and watching the sunset gave her peace she couldn't find in her thoughts. 5. Speaking it out loud. Sometimes, the mind calms when the heart is heard. Sharing your thoughts with a trusted friend, therapist, or even speaking to yourself kindly can break the cycle of endless rumination. Example, John, who struggled with guilt about past mistakes, found relief when he began therapy. Just saying his worries out loud helped him realize they were not as heavy as they felt inside. These are not one-size-fits-all solutions, but they are real, human practices that have worked for many people. The key is not perfection, but consistency. Even the smallest step can begin to free you from the prison of overthinking. Now, let me give you advice from the deepest part of my heart about this problem. What you need to know is that you are not alone. Thousands of people struggle with the same thing. I want to remind you that it is not worth spending your energy thinking about everything. The only thing truly worth your attention is yourself. And even when you think about yourself, do it in a positive way. Always remember, when you focus too much on negative thoughts, you create problems for your mind and for your body. Just like I mentioned before, this is how problems multiply. Also, think about how many times you believed something bad would happen, but it never did. Instead, a completely different scenario appeared. So why waste your energy on fear? From now on, when you think in a positive direction. Don't allow negativity to control you, and if a negative thought does come, please deal with it directly. Don't let it grow bigger inside you. And now, my friends, I kindly invite you to subscribe to this channel. The videos here will be short, but the purpose is very meaningful. To help you develop your English while also exploring solutions for the daily problems we all face. Together, we will not only learn new words, but also grow as individuals. So every time you watch, you will be improving your language and your life at the same time.